Today on Crowdfund Genius, we're talking about 3 ways you can build your email list for a crowdfunding campaign.
Crowdfund Genius Take 1.
Welcome back to another episode of Crowdfund Genius Live. I am your host, ZACBOB. And again, I usually start this off by saying make sure you check us out on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, our podcast. Our podcast will be launching again on February. We pushed the date back, and that's so we can make sure we got all of our episodes lined up and you guys got the best available content. The way our podcast goes is every Monday we release the recorded version or just the audio version of this show right here, Crowdfund Genius Live. And then every Wednesday, we release an episode where we interview a crowdfunding creator from Kickstarter or INDIEGOGO. They share with you how they were able to promote their campaign, how they were able to go through the roof with their campaign and the funding sometimes. And sometimes it's just, hey, this is how we were able to fight tooth and nail to get our funding through a Kickstarter or INDIEGOGO campaign. So that's every Wednesday, and then every Friday we do a crowdfunding resources episode. What is a crowdfunding resources episode? We go out, we do interviews with like Funded.Today or Backer Club or any of these type of crowdfunding promotion services that you hear about or you see about on the internet or that maybe you've experienced or ran a campaign with them in the past. But we do interviews with them. They tell you how much their services are, what they're offering. They give you a few case studies about how it's worked in the past for some of their clients. So you can decide if whether or not that's the option for you when it comes to running your crowdfunding campaign, whether or not you want to purchase those services or that promotion services to kind of boost your crowdfunding campaign, to kind of take it to the next level. So that's the 3 episodes that come out every single week whenever we launch in February. That will continue on for 12 weeks. So make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're listening to some of our past episodes so you can kind of get a feel for the podcast whenever it comes out in February. All right, let's go ahead with our question for the day.
What are 3 options to build my email list for a crowdfunding campaign?
All right, 3 options to build your email list, or 3 different ways you can build your email list. We've talked about a few of the ways, and I'll probably end up reiterating a few of those ways here in a second. But one of the ways that, first you gotta have a lead magnet, all right? If you got a website, let's start off by getting yourself a lead magnet, getting a MailChimp account set up. Something we've recently been turned on to is ConvertKit. So you might want to take a look at ConvertKit versus MailChimp. MailChimp's kind of the norm or what I'm used to, and that's how we're doing business now, but we are currently in the plans to make the switch from MailChimp to ConvertKit. So make sure you check out ConvertKit. All right, so let's go with number one. Number 1, start a MailChimp account, all right? Get your MailChimp account up and start a lead magnet. Now, a lead magnet or an opt-in, it varies on what they're called. You can place these on your website. But how it works is, like, for example, on our website, if you go to ours, we have the free crowdfunding ebook. That is a lead magnet. If you go there, a pop-up will come to our website. You go to our website, a pop-up will pop up saying, hey, check out this, this free ebook. So it could be anything that you want to use. Maybe it's just a PDF document or a Word document or something that you've printed off, or something that can kind of help your backers or help whoever your target audience, who you're trying to target. Use that lead magnet to collect emails. You can set it all up through MailChimp to be easy, and it'll do it while you're sleeping. So that is the first and easy, the most basic way to do it is put a lead magnet on your website. So that's number 1, get a lead magnet on your website. Number 2, the second way you can do this is you can talk to other people that are kind of in your niche, other campaigns that have email lists already established, and you can try to work out some type of promotion or some type of deal with them where they will email your lead magnet or whatever it is that you've come up with to their audience. That way you can try to collect some of those emails from maybe an audience, a competitor, or somebody that you're trying to kind of go into business with or try to partner with. It's a sharing economy now, so don't be afraid to ask those type of questions. You never know until you do ask. Now with that being said, you got to kind of offer some value. So here's number 3, third way you can do this. Instead of just asking them, hey, can you email your list on my behalf and share my lead magnet? Say, hey, let's host a webinar, all right? Let's host a webinar together. Maybe it's talking about how to run a crowdfunding campaign, or maybe it's something to do in your niche. If you're developing a drone, maybe it's talking about 5 ways you should practice safe drone flying or something like that in a form of a webinar. You can partner with other drone companies that already have drones out there and say, hey, I got this list, you got this list. Let's partner together. I'll host the webinar. That means you're gonna have to pay for the webinar services, but you host the webinar, throw up a landing page saying, hey, this is the 5 ways that you can fly a drone safely, and make sure you're within regulations. And we all know there's a new law where you have to register your drones. So maybe that's just a few things that you could talk about in a webinar. It doesn't matter what it does matter what you're talking about for the webinar. You want to make sure it's at your target audience, but at the same time, as long as it's something that gives a little bit of value or gives you some value to your target audience, then your webinar should work out perfectly. At the end of your webinar, make sure you offer them lead magnets for both you and your partner, your webinar partner. So that's 3 different ways. You got your webinar. You can partner up with somebody in your industry that already has an email list, host a webinar, and then throw up a landing page. That way you're collecting emails from both your list and his list for that webinar. The second one is just reaching out to them and asking them to email their list with a lead magnet of yours. And the third and the first and most basic one is put a lead magnet on your website. All right? So let's try those 3 steps first, and then if that doesn't work for you, ask me another question, and we'll go ahead and answer another question right here on CrowdFund Genius Live. All right, so for our question of the day, besides CrowdFund Genius, which is an awesome resource if you're running a crowdfunding campaign, besides our blog and our website and our podcast and our YouTube videos, where's another place that you go to hear great content or great information on how to run a crowdfunding campaign? I'm gonna give you one right now. It's kickstarterforum.org. Let me know in the comments where you're going to find out more and to learn more about crowdfunding. So that's it. Happy crowdfunding. ZACBOB out.